My name is Christopher John Francis Boone. I know all the countries in the world and their capital cities and every prime number up to 7057. Mrs. Shear's dog was lying in the grass, dead in her yard. I stroked Wellington and wondered who had killed him and why. I decided I would go ask some of the people who lived in our street if they had seen anyone killing Wellington. I couldn't ask my father because the investigation was secret because he told me to stay out of other people's business. I wrote the clues I discovered in this book. I had forgotten that I left my book lying in the kitchen table and my father discovered it. I decided to do some detecting to find it. I found a box with lots of envelopes addressed to me. Mother died 2 years ago. Father said she died of a heart attack and it wasn't expected. The first letter was from Mother 18 months after she died. Mother had not died. Mother had been alive all the time. After Father found me, he told me he killed Wellington. I had to get out of the house. Father had murdered Wellington. That meant he could murder me. I thought I could go live with Mother because she was my family. I knew where she lived because I could remember the address from the letters, and I could do it by going on a train. I found Mother's flat in London, but we had to go home because Mother said that if we stayed any longer, someone would get hurt. So we moved into a big house near Father, and I visit Father from 3:49 to 5:30, and he got me a dog, and I found Mother, and I was brave, and I wrote a book, and that means I can do anything.
The curious incident of the dog in the nighttime is written through the eyes of Christopher, which adds a different approach and opens the reader's mind to understand the world in a way an autistic person does. However, it is not stated in the book because the author didn't want him to be labeled with a disability, so instead he is a mathematician with behavioral issues. In order to look at this story from a psychological stand, we must flip the rules around. And instead of figuring out the reasonings for other people's behaviors, we are put into his mind to understand his. He cannot distinguish social psychology, so instead he breaks it up with explanations and pictures. He is a very literal person and doesn't like metaphors because he cannot understand them. He always needs clear instructions, and he cannot change rapidly, or things cannot change rapidly. And he doesn't trust strangers, much less his own father.
Up until 1975, autism was highly misunderstood, often confused with psychosis and thought to be caused by what psychologists described as frigid mothers. Research grew substantially in 1975, however, and it was decided that autism was caused by neurological disturbances and sometimes hereditary illnesses. From that point on, awareness grew and actions were taken to ensure that those with mental disabilities could be provided with a proper education. Provisions such as these reflected a societal awarenesses of autism, but could not guarantee that individuals would take the time in their daily life to assist the mentally disabled, as the reader can see in the way strangers treat Christopher.